On this episode, I'm talking about credit cards, and we're going to take the biggest misnomer, which is credit cards are for emergencies, and we're going to flip it around on its head. So stay tuned.
Joining us this morning is Edward Sanchez, president of Money Sharp.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Money Sharp. I'm Edward Sanchez, and we are now on episode number 19. We're talking about credit cards. Nick and I were looking at all the questions we get from our clients, what's coming in, and a big misconception is that credit cards are for emergencies, right? I'm going to tell you right now that credit cards are not for emergencies. That's number one. Number two, credit cards are a building tool. They're for building credit. They're a tool that you are going to use, not allow the credit card to make you into the tool or the bank to make you into the tool. All right? Bad, the lighting?
Yeah, hold on, stop.
What's wrong?
Sorry, take two.
All right, guys, we're back. I think we figured out the lighting. So if it was horrible in the beginning, whatever. That's just how it works. But we're talking about credit cards. All right, I remember, Diners Club was the first major credit card to come out, and if you had it, you were a baller, right? This was way before the black card. Right? So now, isn't this perfect? We don't have to move anywhere, and the lighting's just even better. Right? Okay, guys. So, Diners Club, right, for ballers before the black card. And then American Express was the big one. That was the heavy hitter. And so we saw all the ads on TV saying, American Express, never leave home without it. Why? Because it's for emergencies, right? What if the car breaks down? What if you're traveling in Europe and your luggage gets stolen? So you need to have never leave home without it was the motto, and we were trained pretty quickly to think that you have to have a credit card. So when I went away to school, and that was mid-90s.
Long time.
My parents, not that long ago, thanks. So mid-90s, and my parents were like, oh, you're going to need a credit card. Before you go away, you're going to need a credit card just in case of an emergency, right? Yeah. So you have access to money. And I'm going to tell you that the credit cards companies, the banks, the lending industry beautifully got us all trained into thinking that credit cards were for emergencies. So who needs savings? Because you can just rely on your credit card. And I know as I was a kid on campus, they were giving credit cards away. If you applied for a credit card, they give you a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. They give you a T-shirt at a concert. I mean, just stupid stuff, right? So much so that Congress had to legislate to ultimately get credit card solicitations off of quads on campuses because how predatory it was in pushing kids to use credit cards. Because they knew that when you give somebody access to credit, they end up using it and they start borrowing it. And that's another one we'll talk about. I'll do an entirely separate video about the loss of the midlife crisis and how people we're now as consumers predisposed to not even rough it anymore. We just use those credit cards. So here's the idea. They're not for emergencies because think about it. If your car breaks down or if you have, let's say you have a $300 emergency, that's what your savings is for because you're trained, you've conditioned yourself, you're managing your budget to have a reserve. So you're the hero in the tragedy, in the story. You're your own hero and you bail yourself out. That's the idea. But if you don't have $300 in case of an emergency and you use your credit card and you swipe that card, it's not a $300 emergency anymore. It's $300 plus interest. And if you didn't have the money to come up with that at that time, now you're going to have to work extra or figure out somebody has to get paid less so you can pay back your credit card. So your $300 emergency balloons into something much bigger. So it's the greatest fallacy in all of financing that credit cards are for emergencies. They're not. Your savings are for emergencies, and you need to condition yourself. You need to have that budget strong so you have that reserve. Now, what are credit cards for if they're not for emergencies? They're for secure transactions. So if you're going to make a travel reservation, you're going to put your credit card down. You're going to rent a car. You'll put your credit card down. You get a hotel room. You need a credit card. They want that for their own security for that. You're going to order something online, and you later need to dispute that purchase. You'll have a greater ability to dispute it through your credit card company than if you used your debit card and that money came out of your account and now you've got to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get that money back and dispute or whatever. With your credit cards, a lot faster. Okay, so it's a tool for that. But more than anything, it's a tool for building credit. Okay, and I have a whole segment, an entire class dedicated to rebuilding yourself and how you use the credit cards instead of allowing the credit cards to use you. Part of that's your utilization rate. Okay, so you get a credit card after bankruptcy or major financial emergency, your score's really low, so you just get approved for one card and they give you $300 available credit. Most people think that you have to use the card and carry a balance in order to get like credit for using your credit. So you need a credit card to build up your credit, and that's true. But what's true is that you need to use it and pay it. What's not true is that you need to carry a balance. You don't need to carry a balance, and you don't need to pay interest. Okay, I'll say it again. You don't need to carry a balance, and you don't need to pay interest to get credit for using your credit card. So you can schedule a payment. Say you schedule your Netflix, your $8.99 a month to come out of the credit card. Schedule the payment. So you schedule it out of your credit card to go to Netflix every month, and then you schedule the payment from your bank account to your credit card the very next day. The very next day, which means the day after the charge is put on, you pay it off and you paid zero interest, but you're utilizing the card. Every month it's being charged, every month it's being paid. That's the win, that's the W, okay? And what you want to do is watch your utilization rate. So if you have $300 available credit on a credit card, don't go above 30%. In fact, if you can stay below 10%, which is $30 on a $300 card, if you can stay under 10%, then you're a super user because you're using, but you don't need it. What looks dangerous to a lender when you sit down and you try to get a mortgage is to see, or you try to get a loan on car, or you try to get a loan online. What they want to look at is your utilization rate. And they're going to say, well, this person has 2 credit cards and they're both $1,000 available credit. And on one, there's a zero balance. On the other one, it's 90% utilization. There's a $900 balance on a $1,000 credit card. So it doesn't look like you're a rock star in one and you're a frump on the other. It looks like you're at 90% utilization on your card. That looks like you're a high-risk user. Like you borrow high and you're not paying it down. Okay, so that actually hurts your credit and it impacts your score. Now, the bureaus don't give us the algorithm. They don't tell us by how much or whatever, but I'm going to tell you this. When you utilize over 10%, that takes a hit on your score. You go over 30%, that's another benchmark of your available credit, that hurts your score. You go over 50, your name is mud. You hit 90%, forget it. You're taking a big hit on your credit score. So inversely, when you're paying down your credit cards and you see the balances go under 90%, go under 75, go under 50%, you're getting a boost in your score. So work to bring down your balances if you are carrying credit card balances. Again, credit cards are for making more secure transactions, providing you greater protection, and for as a building tool. So you're building your credit because you're utilizing the card, not for emergencies. You're simply utilizing it as a tool to show future lenders that you know how to use credit and pay it off. Use credit, pay it off. Use credit, pay it off. Not I'm subsidizing my lifestyle. You know, oh, I had to go. I had friends in town and I had to take them out. That's not what credit cards are for, and certainly not for emergencies. So emergencies happen to all of us. You want to have a financial reserve for that. Okay. So credit cards are not for emergencies. They're for rebuilding. I hope that makes sense to you. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what strategies are working for you. As always, I want to thank Dr. Wayne Dyer. May God bless your soul. Anthony Robbins, and I want to thank Gary Vaynerchuk. Guys, I'll see you in the next episode.
Make your money sharp.